City of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
There we
Yes,
go.
sir.
There we go. What's going on, good peoples? What is going on? We're back,
Yep.
baby.
We back like
We're
we
back,
never left.
ready for action. Been the Eagles practice today. I'm hyped, brother. I'm hyped.
Yeah,
What's good
yeah,
with you, Tone?
we got to get into that, man. But
Yes,
before we
sir.
do, make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We really do appreciate the love and support. Subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Subscribe to Chalk Out of Sports. He's Marcus Thomas, aka Coach Marcus, and I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of the Bald Eagles podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
We are live on 2 channels, Pro Fan Talk and Chalk It Up. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys are locked in. All right. So talk to me, Marcus. Talk to me, because to everything I read, everything that I've seen, today was the sloppiest day of Eagles training camp for the offense in particular, but just sloppy
I
overall.
synced it for myself.
Yeah, for sure. So
Let me say it like this.
where do you want to start?
We were missing We were missing some starters. We were missing 4 starters, I believe. And I will say this. I didn't think Jalen Hurts looked bad at all. Jalen was throwing a couple dimes, and he was putting the ball where it needed to be. In my opinion, the receivers were not coming up with the catches. He threw a dot to Shipley. He put it in the right spot, guaranteed touchdown, and Shipley couldn't come up with the catch.
I heard about that. That was that wheel route.
Yeah. He had him beat. Shipley had about 1.5 yards on him. Hit him in the hands. He just did come down with the ball. And it was another one, like goal line. He threw it. Jalen threw it in the double coverage, but it was still a good throw. And I thought, I think it was Darius Cooper went up to get it and just couldn't come down with it. So he had a couple of good throws that I saw. You can't really say too much and think about too much what you see with the run game. It is what it is, because even though they got full pads on, they're not going full tilt. They just don't. They just had the pads on, and honestly, it's almost like it's for show, man. Me and one of the other alumni, my buddy Ken Dunnick, we was joking with each other, like, how many times has somebody actually hit the ground today? I counted 3. 3 times that somebody actually hit the ground, and it's like they're not popping out here. They just doesn't. It's not the same. So, defense looked good. Defense is always going to look good. We talked about that. The defense is always going to have the advantage in camp, especially when you got an offense that's learning a new system. Correct. However, I will say this. I'm already excited to see what the play action is going to do with Jalen Hurts under center. It is a totally different look, and it enhances what Jalen can do. That is going to be nice to see, and that is going to Dallas Goedert might do some things this year. If he stays healthy, him and Stowers might do some things this year, because that play action is going to take everybody, and it is a perfect combination for that tight end to go the opposite way flat and just sneak into the open area. And I think I've said this before. Dallas used to kill us on that all the time. They used to play action with Zeke, and the tight end would just kind of meander flat down the line of scrimmage and just kind of mosey on up to the 5-yard area, but wouldn't be nobody around them. It was a 5-yard pitch and catch from Dak, and the tight end would turn around and get at least 5 to 15 yards. Somewhere in between there, every now and then make somebody miss. And I don't see why we can't do that. I think by Jalen being under center, and he is under center a lot. And
I
I
was
think
about to
they're
ask you about that.
overdoing it so he can get used to it. Not that he isn't, because if you are a quarterback at this level, in my opinion, that's a prerequisite.
Correct.
That's the basics. So and his dad is a coach, so I know he knows how to do it. But it's all about him getting comfortable, timing, different things like that. So we'll be all right. Yes, I saw the Quez Watkins drop. That was another dime that I believe Jalen threw that pass that should have been a touchdown, and Quez dropped it. He had a step on the DB on the sideline, and he couldn't come up with the catch. So that's another one of them ones that'll get you promoted to fan. But yes, it was a sloppy day for the offense, but I understand why. If I have to say there is a concern just based on what I saw today, and the disclaimer that I'm not there every day. This is the first practice I've seen. My concern would be our backups. Our
Backups where?
Offensive line.
Okay.
They got to get better. Jalen Carter was making Tootsie Rolls out of them jokers out there today, man. It's like I said, our defense is going to be, in my opinion, better than they were in 24. They're that good. Rick Woolen is going to, man, listen. That dude is going to be, I'll go ahead and put that out there. Rick Woolen's going to be an all-pro this year.
Damn.
He's going to be all-pro this year. Because you cannot throw his way. You cannot. He is too big and he is too fast. On top of having a wingspan like that. There's not going to be too many people that can outrun him. You might
he will and has been, in my humble opinion, pushing Jahad Campbell. I mean, I felt like he's been pushing Jahad Campbell since last season. And the thing about Trotter Jr., right, just to hang on that thread a little longer, is like he's a savvy player. He's intelligent. He's instinctual. He's polished. He's just buried. Yeah. And I said this on one of my streams, or I think it was a video I made. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to be a starter in this league, be it eventually on another team, or he's going to start at some point. I think I'm hearing the echo too. I'm coming through somewhere on your end.
I'm good on my end.
Why am I hearing the echo? Anyway,
I don't hear it.
Okay. Hey, let me know if you guys hear echo.
You sound perfect.
But anyway, so I just think Trotter Jr. is in a position where I think he's going to be a starter in this league at some point, be it on another team, or he's going to start if Jahad Campbell gets hurt, whatever it may be, or God forbid Jahad Campbell just falls off a cliff. I think the Eagles are good at linebacker. This is probably the most solid linebacker crew they've had in quite some time.
Yeah, and also to be fair, and I believe Vic Fangio said this the other day, it was a disadvantage for Jahad Campbell playing him on edge. That was a disadvantage for him, playing two positions. But he did what he had to do. He did what they asked him to do. And now where he doesn't have to worry about that, I think he'll be that much better. So we should be in a situation where, again, whatever package they want to put in, we got people that can play. That can play. And again, my concern from what I saw today is our backups, especially at offensive line. We gotta get them better. So it makes no sense to go into a season thinking that your offensive line, everybody's going to stay healthy all year, especially not us. We haven't had that type of luck. So we got to get good backups. Markel Bell has got to be ready. Hinton has got to be ready. All these guys, all these draft picks, they got to get ready.
Well, Markel Bell is a player who I think is ready and can be ready. I think Markel Bell has been showing like that he's capable. He's been getting a lot of second team reps. He's gotten a lot of first team reps next to Fred Johnson. And I think Markel Bell is a player that may end up being a starter on this Eagles team. I really
Uh,
not this year, but at some point.
I can see that happening. Absolutely. But even the one thing that it just solidified and co-signed one of the things that I've been saying. There's not too much that you can learn from these practices. These, to me, in my opinion, these are all mental reps. All mental reps. You will not be able to see anything of substance until they have either a joint practice or B, a preseason game. Because they too familiar with each other. And they're
Right.
not popping, and they not. I give all the credit in the world to Dan Campbell in Detroit. And all of them old school coaches that still let their teams hit and get used to hitting, because nobody wants to do that anymore because there's too much money involved now and you can't get anybody hurt in the preseason.
Mhm.
But like they really need that. And they just don't, they won't do it anymore. They won't do it. There was a play today. Uar Bernard was in there, and he just unfortunately for him, he ain't ready. He's not even close to being ready. He fell for a play action fake so bad. He was chasing the running back when the quarterback was running the other. Like he don't know what he don't know. So
Yeah.
he doesn't understand the concept of a fake, and like it's almost like me and Barrett was talking about this at practice today. It's like somebody here that plays football. All of a sudden, you just start playing Premier League. You know you know what soccer entails. You know you're gonna kick a ball, but you
Right.
don't understand the strategy. You can't stay on sides. You don't understand none of that. All you out there doing is just running and kicking the ball when it comes to you, but you really don't know how to play. That's what Uar Bernard is. He don't know nothing about nothing. He is just a physical totem that is out there trying to learn as he goes. Somebody threw him in the car and said, "You're gonna figure out how to drive today." And
Well,
that's what he's doing.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, look, it's just one of those situations where you look at a guy like Earl Bernard, and you just look at the overall room in general. I mean, there's a lot of talent in our room. There's a lot of guys who are just physical, just different from a physical standpoint. If Earl Bernard can figure it out, that'd be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles. But don't expect to see him on the football field anytime soon, Philadelphia. But I want to ask you about a player who's kind of been discussed in circles, mainly because people are concerned. Mekhi Lemon did not practice today.
Mhm.
And yesterday, he started off practice, but then just wasn't available at any point. And they didn't tell anybody why at first. Now they
Right.
revealed that he has this lingering hamstring that he re-aggravated. And Smitty was also out with a hamstring too. What's your thoughts on the Mekhi Lemon situation? And this is the second time he's tweaked the hamstring. Last time he tweaked it was in OTAs, and they shut him down for mandatory minicamp.
It's hard to say. I'll reserve that judgment until if he misses a preseason game, then we have a problem.
Mm.
And even then, it could still be a situation where don't risk it. It's a preseason game. Again, go through practice, get the mental reps, know what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to be, all of that type of stuff. And then that's an extra 3 weeks of rest on said hamstring or whatever the situation or whatever the problem is. And then he comes back and he's ready to go and he can be at 100%. But it's what are you going to do? You're not going to risk him being hurt. So you can, because you got to have him in the year. So I'll count it as a problem if we don't see him in the joint practice, if we don't see him in the preseason game, then you'll know it's bigger and it's worse than they're letting on.
Yeah, because I think ultimately with him missing these opportunities on the football field in practice, all you're doing is just prolonging the startup costs to him getting acclimated to the NFL level.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I say, and again, honestly, I'm not worried about practice. I'm worried about the joint practices in preseason because you everything is muted, for lack of a better term. It's everything is muted because, like I said, they're not really going full speed. They're not really popping. So we just talking about mental reps to know where you're supposed to be and knowing the playbook. So if he can transfer that, because by the time he does get in the game, he's gonna be itching to play.
Yeah, and once that season starts, some of those little ticky tack injuries that they nurse in the preseason or training camp, yeah, you playing today, buddy. We're gonna we're gonna numb that ass up. You playing today, buddy. So
and nothing you can do about it. So you gotta like my man say, you can't make the club in the tub.
Yeah,
so you gotta get it in. But the situation as it exists now with him is they done paid the money. So it's on the Eagles to make sure he's ready so you can get a return on your investment. And that's what they're going to do. And that's the right thing to do. I want to see him play too, but, don't do nothing stupid. Let the kid, the kid wants to play, period. He want to be out there. He want to be making catches and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you also want to be 100%. And you want to, when you do get your opportunity, you don't want no excuses. You want to be at your best.
Yeah, I agree. So what's your thoughts on the Jonathan Grenard situation? Because I look at Jonathan Grenard, him having a strained pec, right? And he did get the shoulder surgery after he injured it last season. I'm not saying they're related or correlated, but they're saying that we don't know when we're going to see Jonathan Grenard again, but they put him on the active PUP list.
Yes.
So my mindset with him in particular is he's a vet. I'm not too concerned about him knowing what to do on a football field, but I will say this, though. Fangio was pretty candid about the fact that what Fangio requests, Grenard hasn't traditionally done in his career.
Right.
I think
it's
that's
a waiting game.
Yeah. And again,
you go back to
what you said. You can't do nothing about it. The guy got to get healthy. You want him on the football field. You want him right come week one. And the team is talented enough to go, especially on defense. They're talented. So many great things about Darius Cooper just catching everything that comes his way, laying out his body for everything that comes his way. Dontavion Wicks had making some plays. Hollywood Brown and Elijah Moore in particular making plays. I mean, just give me your thoughts on this receiver room and trying to parse through it based off what you saw today.
I think they'll be fine. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for someone to shine. Everybody's been talking about Devontae Smith, and we know that. But we need plan B. We need the Robin. We got Batman. We need the Robin, and we haven't figured out who that is yet. I think it'll be Dontavian Wicks because I believe Wicks is playing with a chip on his shoulder anyways. He's trying to prove people wrong. Could it be Mekhi? Could it be Darius Cooper? Darius Cooper, every time he gets an opportunity, he catches the ball. There was a couple of like 5-yard out passes and things like that, moving the chain type stuff that happened. But again, it's hard to, a guy makes a move. But again, you're not getting popped. So what did we learn? Not much. So there's a lot of that type of stuff. But Darius Cooper has had a couple good catches. Dontavian Wicks has had a couple good catches. And then Smitty been lighting everybody up. So if Wicks and Cooper continue to have that type of consistency.
Because I feel like that is the underrated storyline in terms of the efficiency in their operation with Manning's scheme, right? Juergens talked about it, Steen talked about it, Lane talked about it, Mailata talked about it. These guys have been talking pretty candidly about the fact that Manning's scheme allows for a much smoother operation in the huddle. And I just felt like these past couple of years, in particular last year to be specific, they were always using the entire play clock and taking everything down to the 1 second. And it just seemed like it was taking forever for every play to come in. And there was just I too often I'm seeing Jalen just looking at his arm, looking at the sideline, just doing it one too many times, like he's waiting for the call. And speak on that, right? Speak on just how frustrating it is as a player and what it means to have efficient operation on game day.
The more you have to think, the slower you are on the field. So it'll be fine. Now, if we go into week 3 and we still having the same problems running the offense, throwing the ball, things like that, okay, well then your concern is valid. But we're not at that point yet. This is practice. This is camp. This is what camp is for. In a real game, do I think Jalen would have thrown that pass he threw today in the double coverage? No. But in camp, you trying to see what your receivers are going to do. You trying to see who going to rise up and go get it. That was a pass today. Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone, and they overthrew it. I'm like, how the hell you overthrow Johnny Wilson?
I heard Johnny Wilson ain't been having a good camp.
He hasn't been.
I heard he just hasn't been able to stand out.
Yeah.
You know, it's been the Darius Cooper show.
Right. But to that point, how frustrated does it have to be for somebody like him to finally get open and then they overthrow the ball? They overthrow the ball against somebody that's 6'5" and can jump out the gym, and he still couldn't bring it down.
Yeah.
So I can understand his frustration. And I can understand that people want to see somebody new, but in this business, this is a results-based business. I'm leaning forward.
Right.
And Barrett was like, He said that dude would have scored and ran somebody over. He said, I called a couple of his games. He is no joke. He is physical. He don't mind taking the hit. And he's like, that's 6 guaranteed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take your expertise on it. But we gotta, at the end of the day, man, we gotta get some film of them on other people, not just y'all been looking at the same people for weeks. Now you need a different color jersey.
Yeah. When is that joint practice?
I don't know.
Because they got the Patriots, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to see where that is. When is it? Because you're right. That is going to tell a lot.
19th and the 20th.
19th and the 20th. Oh, we got some time. We got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
19th and the 20th. Yep.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you. We're not going to really be able to have the strongest opinions of these guys because ultimately we're going off of what we're reading, what we're what's being reported, and we're not there seeing it. But even beyond that, they're installing.
We thought we was giving the special teamer, and he comes up, blows the spot up. Now he's going to Pro Bowls and he's consistent. And then when I see stuff like that, I'm looking at the people down in New Orleans like, what was y'all doing when his draft grade come across your desk? Did y'all do any type of research?
They had too many players on the contract. He was buried. It wasn't like they had talent at the position. He just got drafted to a loaded situation, and you know how that goes. Once the money start getting spread around,
yep,
they don't care how good you are. They paid him.
Exactly.
He got lost in
the sauce.
A lot of GMs are afraid to go back on that. Like they pay somebody and then they can't move off of it because they committed to it and they can't go. They can't face their honor and say, look, we paid this guy. We shouldn't give him that money. This is the guy.
That's where that term numbers game comes from. There's plenty of people. It happens in every camp, on every team, every year. There's always somebody that is just going off in camp, beasting on everybody. And then there's a draft pick. It wasn't bad. Who you think they're going to keep? They're going to keep the draft pick because there's ego involved in that pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an investment involved in that.
Absolutely.
A team would much rather blow $1 million than blow a first round. Let me give you my example.
Okay.
My person is AJ Epinesa. Somebody brought him up and it reminded me of it. That's why I brought it up to you. I look at AJ Epinesa as a guy who's in this league consistently been a rotational edge rusher. That's been his role. I think he's been in the league for 6 seasons. He only has 1 season where he's played double-digit games in terms of starting. Starting. So he doesn't miss games, but he only has like 19 starts and compared to like 60 some odd games played. So he's a guy who's always been a rotational edge rusher. He knows how to maximize his opportunities in that role. When I think about the Eagles' edge rusher position, I'm thinking about Jalen Hunt, Jonathan Grenard. Then you get to Nolan Smith. Then you get to the new additions in Arnold Ebiketie and then AJ Epinesa. Then after that, it gets a little wonky. Right and down, he took the ball away twice. He had 2 interceptions. He had 4 pass deflections at the line of scrimmage. Had a fumble recovery.
Nice.
Had the quarterback hit. So when I watched him play, his instincts for the passing lanes are sharp, and his nose for the ball is sharp as well. He's always near the ball. He always gets his hands on the ball somehow, some way. He's not the most explosive,
Right.
but he knows what he's doing. I think if AJ Epinesa can do what he's done and be a player for the Eagles and spell Jalen Hunt and or Jonathan Grenard whenever they come off the field, for you to have a stable of pass rushers who can guarantee you a minimum of 6 sacks per, that's a dangerous proposition for the opposition. But again, he's a fringe player. I think he makes the roster because of his experience and just his ability to play the passing lanes. He still has to prove that he can do what Vic Fangio needs him to do in full.
Right.
But I think with his savviness, with his experience, I think he could be an unsung hero on this defense. I think AJ Epinesa can quickly become a fan favorite.
Yeah. It all comes down to how he plays. Make plays. Make plays. Make plays. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. Remember what everybody said about Nakobe being too small, shoulder injury. He had all of that stuff going. The only thing he did was stepped in and made plays. How somebody 5'10" gonna play Mike linebacker? He did it.
That he did, man. But what was players aside, on field stuff aside, walk me through just the vibes of being at training camp today, just being with your with your alumni, and being around the team, being around just the facility. I know they feed y'all good, so
Yeah.
so yeah. Talk to me, Mark. I need to see what you
Man.
saw.
Listen, it's always fun just being with the fellas, man. My boy Shad was there. Mike Shad was the offensive tackle. That played when I played. John Harris, Barrett, Mo Williams from when he was a tight end when I played. And then of course, Harold Carmichael's always there. Mike Quick is always there. By the way, I got some good connects with Mike Quick, so I might be getting him on the cast soon. I'm efforting, and I got an iron in the fire of trying to connect with Randall, so I'm efforting there too. So we'll see how that works out.
That'd be awesome, man.
So
I'd
that'll be
like
phenomenal.
That'd be much.
But yeah, man, we just like about half the practice, I'm standing next to Barrett and we sitting there. I'm looking at him like, what you think? And he was the one that was like, he just kind of shook his head. He was like, man, our backups are not good. And I was like, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. But we got a lot of football to play before we even get to the getting. You know what I'm saying? So you take everything with a grain of salt. It's not as bad as it looks. It's not as good as it looks. Because I guarantee you, there are some teams, and this happens every year too. There are some teams and some offenses that are lighting it up in preseason, and when the regular season starts, they look garbage.
Yo,
so it
for
works
sure.
both ways.
For
It
sure.
works both ways. So we try to keep it real. You walking with the fans. I think it was a lot of high school kids there today. So a lot of people are happy just to be there. I don't know if you saw the picture. I don't know if I posted that picture with me and Zach Bowen.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I was just kind of waiting around, and he was taking pictures with kids and signing autographs and stuff. I think that was a paid, not not that he got paid, but that's
A
part of the
sponsor.
package where all of the people showed up. You get some quality time with Zach Bond because he stayed late signing autographs and taking pictures and stuff. So I just kind of hung back, and then when everybody was done, I was like, "Hey, man, I'm alumni, man. Let me get a shot with you." He was like, "Oh, for real?" And we shook hands and all that. It's just
he seems like a nice guy.
He is very nice, man. Very nice.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Like, but like I said, me and Ken Dunnick was watching it. He was like, his name is Cole, right? Or Cole? Is it Colton?
it's Cole something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
man.
in any case, he might be trying to take the third string spot.
Cole
I
Payton,
think-
that's what it is.
Cole Payton, thank you. I think him and Tanner McKee gonna battle it out because I don't think Big Red is going anywhere. And the reason why I say that is because number one, he's a vet, he's an easy, good backup, and number two, he's familiar with the offense.
I was about to say that he's very familiar.
familiar
You
with the
want that for
offense.
Jalen Hurts. You want that.
Absolutely. So it's like the Doug Peterson, Donovan McNabb syndrome all over again. Doug Peterson brought in your job is to teach Donovan this offense. And then when Donovan was ready, they gave him the hook and put Donovan in, and the rest is history. So he's there to translate because he understands the offense that they run. So, and he looks comfortable back there. I don't know if I don't know how all this play action is going to work for somebody like him because you got to haul ass when you make that fake. You better be on the move, bro.
Hey, listen,
if
that
that
10-yard
defensive
split
end
need to be
don't
sharp.
bite, woo, that's a knuckle sandwich, bro.
I need that 10-yard split to be sharp. I don't care about the 40, but the 10, I need
Yeah.
you to be on it. You feel
Yeah.
me? But that's all I really have, man. I don't really have too much. Training camp was super sloppy today.
Yeah, it was.
We're going to keep our eye on the Mekhi Lemon and the Jonathan Grenard injuries. And, look, at the end of the day, you guys, I think it's really important to just continue to temper your expectations. Just be kind to yourself and be reasonable with yourself when it comes to these Philadelphia Eagles. Because at the end of the day, all these organizations, all these teams are working out the kinks to what they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So don't get caught up in all the glitz and the glam. I think somebody brought it up earlier. Remember when the Saints was going crazy those first couple weeks, and then they ran into the Eagles, and they ain't been the same since.
Ain't been the same since. And that's why training camp, mental reps, take it with a grain of salt. Because it's going to look totally different when the season starts.
Sure enough. All right, you guys, that's our show. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. Again, subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Subscribe to Chalk It Up with Tone DeShields II. I really do appreciate the love. Really do appreciate the support. You guys have been phenomenal. And we do not, I repeat, we do not take it for granted. He is Marcus Thomas, a.k.a. Coach Marcus, and I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on the Bald Eagles podcast. And we're out of here, y'all. Fly Eagles fly.
Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Blind guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by, bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.